Losing a loved one is never easy for anyone, and it can be especially challenging for a 5-year-old who has just lost his mother. This little boy climbed onto his mother's coffin, unwilling to let her go. When the family finally opened the lid, they were taken aback. Upon learning of his mother's passing, kind-hearted Cain's first words were, "Will she still be able to sleep beside me tonight?" It may sound a bit unusual, but for a 5-year-old, it was difficult to grasp why his mom wouldn't be with him anymore. He struggled to accept that she wouldn't be there to walk him to school. Cain even said, "Mama, my clothes aren't scattered all over the room. I've folded them just like you do. Can you sleep beside me now?" He spoke these words to his mother in the coffin, hoping that by showing her his good behavior, she would wake up. To help you understand why Cain believed that folding his clothes properly would persuade his mom to respond, let me share the story of how their family began. Catherine and Michael tied the knot 15 years ago. The duo were high school sweethearts, and everyone knew they would end up together. However, there was an 18-month period when Catherine was adamant that she wanted nothing to do with Michael. Not because she stopped loving him. Quite the contrary. The Filipino always mentioned that she was worried she loved Michael too much. But their 18-month breakup was because Michael hurt her. 15 years ago, Michael broke her heart by doing what he describes as the biggest mistake of his life. He and Catherine went to the same college. Michael studied engineering while Catherine majored in accounting. They were at a party to celebrate the end of their first year, but Catherine left early because she got a call from her mom. She had to travel to their village the next morning, and a hangover would make that difficult. Michael offered to leave the party with her, but she said to him, "This night, you deserve to have fun, and I don't want to take that away from you." Michael stayed at the party with Catherine's best friend, Angela. Catherine was about to take a cab when she realized she had lost her phone. She had forgotten her phone in the restroom and headed to the toilet immediately after returning to the club. However, as she made her way back to the cab, she saw something she considered impossible. She saw Michael and Angela kissing on the dance floor. It took her a few seconds to find the words to break up the kiss, as they didn't realize she was watching them. Michael ran after her, but that was the night their relationship ended. He tried to apologize for his mistakes for many months, but they never reconciled, not until 18 months later when Catherine gave him another chance, and this time he made no mistakes. It took a while for her to trust him again, but Michael proposed 2 years after they got back together. It took Catherine 2 weeks to say yes to getting married. She and her partner wanted to have a big family, and a year after they got married, Catherine was pregnant with Cain. She had a flawless pregnancy with no complications. After 3 months, her first ultrasound showed that she was carrying a boy. Cain was an easy delivery, and 3 weeks later, the mother and child were discharged from the hospital. 20 months after Cain was born, Catherine was pregnant with another child. The couple was excited, and their first son couldn't wait to become a big brother. Cain wanted to have siblings. On the day we told him his mother was pregnant, he asked if she was delivering the child the next morning. "He's just a lovely kid," Michael said. However, Catherine was on her way to the hospital for her first ultrasound when she had a miscarriage. It's hard to describe the feelings of that night. Catherine was devastated. She was depressed and could not focus or do anything. I've never seen my wife so sad, and as much as I told her that it wasn't her fault, she blamed herself for it. Because I never wanted to see her in that dark place anymore, I told her I didn't want another child. But if you know Catherine, you would realize that she doesn't give up. It took her a while, but after she recovered, she wanted us to try again. After some time, Catherine got pregnant again. Although she loved her job, she resigned the day she discovered she was pregnant. This also allowed her to spend more time with her son, or her little rascal, as she always called him. Just like most boys, Cain was a handful, and she would say, "The day you learn to put things back where you find them is the day you stop being a rascal." Cain, for the 1000th time, do not leave your clothes lying around. Fold them and put them in the closet. This is an example of what an everyday conversation between Catherine and her son sounded like. Being at home allowed the pregnant woman to become closer to her son. Cain never liked to sleep alone, so Catherine told him that she would sleep with him in his room if he folded his clothes. Although this system didn't work all the time, Cain became more organized. Unfortunately, things went south again for this family when Catherine had another miscarriage after 6 months. The family was devastated, and Catherine accepted that maybe they were not meant to have a second child. Michael said, "Losing another baby was difficult for us. It was hard for Catherine to deal with, and it took a while for her to move on. I guess you never get over the loss of a child, even if it's one that you never gave birth to." Catherine focused on getting her career back on track, but just before she had her first interview, she realized that she was pregnant again. This time, she wasn't as excited as she had been about her previous pregnancies. To prevent tragedy again, she had more appointments with her doctor. Her ultrasound showed that she was carrying a boy and that her child was in good health. Catherine went into labor 2 days before her delivery date. Michael took her to the local hospital in San Jose, Mindoro Occidental. Catherine had difficulties delivering her baby. She was in the labor room for several hours and eventually gave birth to her second son, Cyril Kaser. What wonderful news! I am so happy for this family. Giving birth exhausted Catherine, and she lost a lot of blood during the hours of labor. Despite the medical team's best efforts, she died shortly after giving birth. Michael said, after she gave birth, she got to hold her son. She was crying, and I knew those were happy tears. Then I just saw her face turn white, like life was slowly leaving her, and that's how I lost my wife. But my only consolation is knowing that she was happy before she died. Cain was completely devastated by the loss of his mother, as you can imagine. He placed a chair next to his mother's coffin and sat down next to her because he didn't want to leave her. Then he arranged a couple of chairs to make a bed so that he could sleep next to his mom. Then he said to her, "Mama, my clothes are not scattered all over the room. I have folded them as you do. Can you sleep beside me now?" He then asked his grandmother, Mauricio Gabriel, why his mom wasn't sleeping next to him. On the day of Catherine's funeral, Cain climbed onto his mother's coffin and told everyone that he still wanted to spend some time with her before they buried her. Michael agreed and allowed him to spend 1 more hour with his mom. An hour later, as they were about to move Catherine's coffin, one of the pallbearers noticed something strange. The family decided to open the coffin's lid, and what they saw shocked them. The little boy had snuck his mother's favorite sweater into the coffin because he thought it could keep her warm while she slept peacefully. Isn't that sweet? Cain explained that she looked very tired and cold, which is why he thought she needed the sweater. One thing is for sure, Cain is a little boy with a big heart. He and his mother had a very special relationship that will last forever. May Catherine's soul rest in peace. What do you think about this touching story? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you.